Spoštovane dame in gospodje, sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, gentili signori e signore, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Francesca Fogli.
Good morning, dear colleagues. We're glad to present our group from Latvia to you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Dear European fellow students, it's a pleasure to be with you.
Good morning, dear students. We come from Czech Republic, from a region called Wallachia, from the town of Valašské Klobouky.
The Greeks are well known all over the world for being hospitable, honest, and hardworking. What's more, they show solidarity and compassion for others and especially the less fortunate. I am convinced that despite all the hardships, these values and virtues that we hold dear will continue to define us for many years to come.
As you all know, the Balkan route led hundreds of thousands of refugees through Austria. Some of these refugees stayed in our area. Our school offers language courses for young people from Syria. So, we try to give our best to represent the European idea in our small region of Austria, because education and communication are the cornerstones of any democratic system.
Engagement in youth activism can make important changes. The opinion of the youth matters and should be heard. Passionate youth will change the world. As Michael Jackson said, we are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day. Thank you for your attention.
My question is, why doesn't the European Union extend itself? How come countries in the Balkans, countries such as Republic of Macedonia, Republic of Albania, Republic of Kosovo, Republic of Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, face challenges about receiving European Union membership? They are all located in the European Union, but why aren't they accepted? I mean, they're located in the European continent, but why aren't they accepted as they have made developments and progress? Thank you.
Asturias, our region, is a coal mining area. European Union has decided to close them, but we know some countries are reopening mines. Could it be any possibility for us to get equal conditions? Thank you.
Because of the fourth industrial revolution, we have to help US states to become as competitive as possible, right? But do we prepare our students for the future? Cars have changed a lot in 150 years, and phones have changed rapidly too. But let's think about our classes. Have they really ever changed? Students may be only 20% of our populations, but we are 100% of our future. So my question is, why there is not any decision that will rapidly change our education taken at the EU level?
Is there a policy, a future policy in the European Union, or at least any kind of discussion that's related to the automatization of jobs in the age of intelligent machines? Because once most of jobs that we consider human are when computers will be able to do those jobs, do we say, okay, humans should do those jobs still because we are humans, or should we propose some kind of a new system where humans would not do those kinds of jobs?
All of us, I think, can agree that fundamental human rights form the pillars of our democracies. My basic question is, should us Europeans be a voice for non-Europeans around the world whose rights are infringed upon? If so, how can we do this? And how can we continue trading with countries like Saudi Arabia, a country where many people's human rights have not been respected?
My question is based on this week's events in which the 45th President of the United States was elected. And taking in consideration that his campaign was based on racist and xenophobic comments, and being the values of European Union, such as solidarity, equality, or dignity of the human person, how will be the political relations between Europe and America be from now on?
I would want to ask, why do you talk about Polish and eventually Hungarian democracy here in European Parliament, I think it is our thing. Yes, we are in European Union, but new government has been elected by a great amount of Polish people, and this government now has a power. So these are the rules of democracy.
Refugees come in my country almost every day, and most of them have suffered a lot because of the wars that happen in their country. Some European countries do not let them to enter some European governments do not let them to enter their countries. So these people remain in Greece, living under the worst conditions. So the question is why some countries do not offer asylum to refugees. Thank you.
Now that the United Kingdom has left the European Union, do you think more countries will follow their example by leaving the European Union?
I'd like to ask a question about trade deals like TTIP or CETA. Many European citizens are concerned about, for example, the fact that the process of creating these deals is not transparent. My question is why isn't work on these deals more transparent? Why isn't actually the whole work of the EU more transparent? And doesn't this lack of transparency stay in opposition to the very democratic values the EU states to believe in?
You said before that EU wanted to expand, for example, over the Atlantic. You also said that each country has to apply for membership. The question is, how do we make the EU expand? How do we make other countries wanting to apply for membership? Thank you.
The first point is straightforward. Citizens should pay less taxes on buying environmentally friendly products. They should also be given aids or grants which would help them acquire such products. The second point is focused more on the companies rather than on the individual. This is the idea of eco-police, which would distribute financial punishments to the companies whose products aren't environmentally friendly. And for the companies which are environmentally friendly, they would be given the chance to put a trusted eco sticker on their product to ensure eco-friendliness to customers. The third point is about changing the mentality of people through education. We believe that financial aid shouldn't be the only thing motivating people to do sustainable development. Teach them how it helps, and they will help. The fourth point is connected to the third. Advertisements, either in the general sense and events or through endorsements, should serve to popularize belief in sustainable development. The fifth point is very pragmatic. The EU should invest in eco-friendly transport, especially electric cars and houses. The sixth and final point is promoting new energy sources, especially nuclear energy. Nuclear energy has the best energy ratio, and the only reason why we're afraid of it is the man error that happened years ago. We believe these 6 points are the key to maintaining a policy that will aid the EU in sustainable development. Thank you very much.
My name is Sarina and I'm from Germany, and I don't think that nuclear energy is a solution. Nuclear energy is a big problem because the thing it produces, I don't know the right word in English. In German it's Atommüll. Doesn't go away just like magic and disappears. It stays, and it stays longer than we can imagine. And if we haven't anything or any point to put it where it's safe, and we have not this point, then it will destroy nature and it will destroy people's life because it causes cancer.
That's precisely why we should invest in nuclear energy. It has, even though it has the best energy ratios, it has all those problems, but if we can only solve the problem of where to put all the radioactive waste, it would be amazing. We could have so much more energy. It would be much cheaper. So many more advancements in science could be made. So I know what you're saying, but it just like when you said that, I just got even more motivated to invest in nuclear science, because once we can overcome that issue, it will be even better. I imagine that's not what you expected, but that's what I think. Thank you.
The respect of human rights comes from common sense, and European Union should probably take a more important role on educating European children with a humanitarian conscience. And then about data protection, we think that it is important to ensure that data protection is respected, as we think that there should be some more legislation to protect citizens from hackers and personal information invasion. Last, I want to say that there wasn't, however, a lot of agreement on the main question to the restriction of human rights when security is at stake, because of the confusions on the definitions of important concepts and on the comparison importance of different human rights. So probably children should be encouraged on debating the issue and being informed about it. So once more, education is at stake. So our main focus was on educating and the children, the European children, and probably European Union should pay more attention to education throughout the state members.
My name is Filip and I'm from Poland, and I agree with my Greek friend. From what I understand, the EU is willing to sacrifice human rights in order to stay secure. But isn't that like, isn't that against the principles that founded the European Union, the freedom, the liberty, the independence? I mean, I am Polish, and me and my Polish friends, our nation, the history of our nation was all about the struggle, fight for freedom. And we've been taught that there is nothing more important than freedom, liberty, independence, the right to live. And many, many people in our history have sacrificed their lives, their security, in order for us to have those rights, and so that they are not limited. So that's what I think. Thank you.
One of the biggest points we've been discussing and debating about is education in all countries and in the developing countries. And we ask ourselves, is it our duty to develop education? And yes, it is our duty. As a way to find it out, to provide education, is that we send professors to the developing countries to teach there. We may offer a deal for them. For example, they can do own researches, and while they are teaching in developing countries. And it's important that this education is equal for men and women. And if those people are educated, then they can get good jobs, then they can get a good salary, and that salary can affect to support the economy of their country. And we don't have to provide professors or teachers the entire time. We can say we will do this for 2 or 3 generations until these generations, which we teach in the beginning, that these can now have a high level of education, that they can give their knowledge to the others. So it's a better way to send professors to the countries than getting the people to Europe. Because if we get the people in Europe to Europe, there's a danger that they will stay here, and we still have the problem of keeping them here. Because that is what humanity means, and humanity also means sharing the knowledge, and that's an important key.
Throughout the years, we've seen an organization called Médecins Sans Frontières, which comprises of doctors who go throughout the world to help other countries, especially developing countries, who need help in medical issues. So why don't we, in Europe, and even if it has to be internationally, create some form of system like Médecins Sans Frontières, but which tackles education more than the medical aspect? Thank you.
I think that I haven't even mentioned before. I think this is a great new idea which can make us and provide us new ways of education, as you mentioned, that the Docteurs Sans Frontières can be used as an example for the teachers. And I think that haven't been mentioned before, or that haven't been thought about before. And I think this is also the purpose of doing this Euroscola program, so we can have good new ways and problems solved.
Some of our proposals were a program to help young European citizens like ourselves transition more smoothly to the job market in order to avoid unemployment and allow Europe to develop further, because if we stimulate our job market, we will be stimulating the economy, therefore we will grow. Another proposal was to stimulate the learning of new languages through a governmental program paired with cultural exchange programs, to allow the future generation and future active population to develop more skills which could be useful in the job market. And last, we developed a concept of a junior European Council, which consists of a European Union project to raise consciousness and awareness to political issues and matters. What we want to do with this project is create a more aware Europe. It would raise awareness and fight for our future. If we start this political education early, we can raise more educated citizens that will better defend our interests and our future.
What is about future Europe's demography? What do you think about it?
I mean, there's a whole lot of factors that are making our fecundity rates go down, and right now, for example, my country's is very low, as I'm sure some of yours is, and there are a lot of ways that we could change this. For example, we could implement programs that could help young mothers with, how do I say this, being able to work at the same time as having a kid. For example, I think mothers have a license of 10 months, I'm not quite sure, but they could have more paid leave, that's what I'm trying to say, because there are a lot of things that would motivate people to have children. For example, economic motivations, subsidizing time spent with kids, more financial aid with school, more financial aid with education, with all the costs that having a child nowadays implies, which are a lot.
In order to find a solution for this crisis that is so delicate, we suggested that a legislative specification should be done in order to make the asylum process faster and to make the process flow and not to overload the border countries. In addition, we think that the joint responsibility of the United Nations in articulation with the EU in setting international cooperation policy through the Agency of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees in a resettlement and integration of these migrants would be a very good measure to take, because not to overload Europe's role, because we can't, because in this way we would be able to give better living conditions when arriving and proper conditions when integrating these migrants. taking solidarity, dignity, and equality in consideration, and knowing that several countries are not respecting the quotas voted regarding the amount of refugees given to each member state, we think that a European law should be above every national law. For example, there is the Charter of the Fundamental Rights of the European Union that has articles such as the human dignity must be respected, everyone has the right to security. And we think that for some countries not to accept the policies that were voted, we think that a European law should be above all national laws.
My question is, seeing the rise in nationalist populist movements, is that do you think that the distribution equally of migrants all over Europe would cause conflict within the European Union between the different nations, such as the Eastern European countries and the Western European countries, for example?
Well, it is obvious that not everyone agrees in this issue because it's very delicate. We are speaking about people that don't have the same opportunities. Well, I think we are in the parliament, we are here to hear each other, and as Mariana said, to come to an agreement, we have to give a little bit of ourselves and to respect the others. And so I think because we are talking about people that didn't have the same opportunities as we have, we must deal with this, and we must take respect in consideration, because refugees are people, and that's the thing I think it must be settled in all of us. And so, yes, I think there would be not conflicts, but some countries would not agree with other measures. But if this talk would continue, I think a settlement to this issue would be done, a fair one, an equitable one, and a solution that would be in respect of dignity of the human person.
First of all, we need to have so-called youth guarantee, also known as implementing a system where people under the age of 25 years have the opportunity to receive a job and education. From finishing school, they are supposed to have the ability and the possibility by the government to receive a job and an education, to have a brighter future, and so on. The second suggestion that we agreed with was establishing new jobs, such as YouTubers and bloggers. We suggest that these people also do something to the community and need to be rewarded in some case, as making it as a real job. And we agreed that it should be considered as a normal job, but taxes should also be included in this. And the European Union should also guarantee them safety as for all other workers in this case.
What's your opinion on the differences between the strategies in education in countries? The education systems are very different. What's your opinion? Should Europe have like one system for all the countries? Thank you.
Personally, I think that the countries in the European Union, the member states, should have a more common education when it comes, because it will also help students in the future to search jobs in other countries, and that will make it easier to have the same amount of expectations in other countries and so on. So I actually agree.